one of the things about meetings like this is that we, soon discover that every single part of the body and working with people with addictions and vulnerable people and people that are needy in our society, every single part of the body is so much needed. And so why I give a presentation on Teen Challenge UK, but it's really on what God is doing in our nation through many different facilities and many different people that are working with the most vulnerable of our society, the hurting, the needy. And it's my joy to present Teen Challenge UK. It's my heart, it's where I have been involved since 1995. So quite a many years. I just found the Lord in an incredible way in Southern Ireland, and I felt a call of God in my life, and He called me to Teen Challenge, and I've been there practically most of it. Myself and my husband have pastored on and off, but most of the years have been in Teen Challenge, mainly working with women. I helped pioneer a women's centre, and then I was manager of a women's centre for 10 years, and now I oversee all the programmes, men and women, and it's a joy to work with both, but women are certainly harder and more complex issues, but long term actually really rewarding as well. So, but it is a joy. So the first slide was meant to be, now I haven't a clue how this works either. Which one do I press? It's not going to be good, is it? The one underneath?
The down button.
Down one. So let's see. So that was my video, so that won't be happening soon. Okay, so just a little history of Teen Challenge. Originally founded in America by David Wilkinson, 1958, so next year will be the 60th anniversary. It's called Teen Challenge because he was reaching the teenagers in New York City, the gangs in New York City, and they were teenagers. And a lot of people think, are you just working with teenagers? But in actual fact, our age group is 18 plus. And but it's such a global organisation, it's very hard to change the name at this stage. But Teen Challenge is represented in over 118, it's probably 120 now, updated countries worldwide, and we have about 35 countries just waiting to join. Obviously that needs a lot of resources for each country to set up a Teen Challenge. There's 1,100 programs globally in Teen Challenge, but TC UK began in the late 60s, but then it was in the 80s and 90s that it began to grow significantly. So we have 6 residential centres. I'll show you just pictures. A lot of this will be pictures, because I know last session on a Saturday, most of you are on the motorway. And so I'm not going to bore you with a massive load of detail. I want to inspire you. I want you to leave with a bit of inspiration that God is at work in our land in an incredible way. The gospel is still good news. The gospel is still at work. Jesus Christ is still at work, and He loves working, He loves the poor and needy. That's why He came. He came to do that. So I will, I'll give you some stuff, but I'll be showing you pictures and everything. But so here we go. We have 16 outreach. So a lot of people think Teen Challenge is just residential, and we do residential, but we also do a lot of outreach. A very big stream in Teen Challenge is evangelism. And, so we have lots of different places that we have different outreach centres. So for instance, in Scotland, Teen Challenge Strathclyde, they have about 20 locations. So most of the nights of the week, maybe 7 of the nights, they're out somewhere in a different location. And they do that in all different parts. They do that different ways. Some of them have coffee buses double-decker buses, they change into coffee buses. Some of them have just a little gazebo. Ilkinson Town, they have a little gazebo that they go, and the council let them plug in to electrics, and every Friday night. And one of the volunteers, she's 82, incredible lady, and really loves the people that come on the gazebo. And so there's many different ways. In Edinburgh they have a prison van. Now it's after really happening. The presentation is gone. So don't take my pictures away, or I'll have to preach all day. Keep preaching there. in Edinburgh, the ironic thing is they had a prison van. So they converted a prison van, and the guys and girls would come on the van and say, hold on, this is familiar. There's something wrong here, this is really familiar. But it's about bringing hope. Just bringing
I'm utterly convinced.
Okay, we can still, is it ready then? Let's just start with the video. Get back to the PowerPoint. So that's just, a little flavour of, what we do, and just seeing so many people. It is one of the most rewarding works that we can do. And the first session with Dr. Joss, and I got excited when he said 2019 about the money, because it's time now that we, God has given us resources, He's given us the power of God, the gospel to take. So, it's time for us as a church to rise up and not depend on the government. Now, we need the government help, and thank God if we can get it, let's get it, absolutely. But you know what? The world is looking to the church now. Just like they are for the food banks, this is going to be the same with addiction. They're looking for a way out. And so we have lots of different outreach ministries going out every night of the week. We also have a full-time leadership academy where we train people, not just from Teen Challenge, from outside as well, who would want to come, and it's an academic year, and we train people to do this type of work, to do outreach, church planting, lots of different exciting stuff. And there's a city outreach team as well. I'll talk about that in a moment. So this is our residential centre. What we do detox, working with, we don't do detox on site, but we do a community detox, working with local doctors, and we have a really lovely Christian doctor on board who will do the assessment and prescribing, and we usually detox from methadone or heroin and Subutex. And so we would have a prescription, people would go to the local pharmacy, then the pharmacist would dispense the Subutex daily, and it works really well. So it's like a community detox, only that it's in obviously our centres, and it works. A Subutex detox is an actually really, really, really good detox. It's usually about 12 to 14 day detox, and it works really well. We used to do, cold turkey, all of that kind of stuff, but we found people are on so much stuff that, to actually, have a detox when we're able, it's just brilliant. So we do then, our rehabilitation then is a 10-month structured programme, and on that we have, set modules that in every Teen Challenge globally you will find with 14 modules. They're all Christ-centred, Bible-based teachings. They're absolutely brilliant, and we teach them every morning. So we have a worship service every morning, and then we have a classroom. So the classroom base is like each of our residents have an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half at night in classroom, and that's all really teaching life skills and just really looking at underlying issues to addiction. And it's not academic, even though we do little tests at the end with memory verses that people have to learn, but it's very much project-based as well, where they will go away and think about what they've learned, and then obviously the practical outworking of those issues. And so we do that, and then vocational training in the afternoon. So very structured programme from 7:15 in the morning till 10:30 at night. So it's quite intense, but it's good. So we have like a re-entry, 6 months in the community. Some people will stay on and do some training. We also now have linked with another charity called Horizon Life in Harrogate, and we work with them. We actually run that programme now, and so we have a training and employment facility for young men and hopefully young women next year, where they will go on and start doing some college work and training, getting them back into employment, so in many different ways. And so that is a further year on, and that is working really, really well. With 15 young men at the moment, just visited it there last Sunday night, and 15 young men, and all of them are in college doing some sort of course and it's just fantastic. So this is our ladies' centre. Now is the picture time, so you can wake up a little bit again. So this is our ladies' centre in South Wales, and I had a great privilege of help setting that up in 1996, and then I managed it for 10 years, and it's an amazing centre. This is not far from here, really, London Men's Centre in Ilford in Essex. And that's another fantastic facility. This is Benaya, northeast of Scotland, mother and baby. So that's a small facility where mums are able to bring their children with them, and so they can go to the local nursery while mum is in classroom. But it's also teaching parenting skills and really not having mum separated. And I suppose my dream really is to have a bigger one of those in the future, and just so mums aren't separated from their children, if we can possibly do that. This is our men's centre in northeast of Scotland, another facility that has about 18 men, and that's mainly for the Aberdeenshire area. So I'm pressing that way, okay. And this is our Willoughby House where I'm based. Now that kind of doesn't do it justice, but it's an 80-bed facility, so it's quite big. And what we have there, we have three things there. We have our men's centre, which is 40 beds, and then we have our leadership academy, and we have our head offices as well. So there's three kind of services. It was a Best Western hotel, and we bought it about 7 years ago, renovated it, and we've been there now over 5 years. So it's an amazing facility, really. And then this is the one on Scottish Borders, our men's centre, another beautiful, fantastic, peaceful place, really good. So our outreaches, so that's the residential. Outreaches is over 16 outreach ministries, about 500 part-time workers, volunteers, mainly a lot of people, our volunteer force are in our outreach facility, and it could go from, as I said, the 80-year-old lady who just, she drives the van and drives the guys to their, the court appearances and everything, or you might have somebody who's a little bit shy and just make teas and coffees, but then they just really are somebody who's going to make some sandwiches, and others who are more experienced who will do a little, talk to person one-on-one. But a lot of people come through our outreach facility as well. And some of our locations we've got full-time employed workers, and that's fantastic because they can continue the engagement with the people before they come in and really prepare somebody before they come into residential rehab. And we find the better people are prepared, the better they are to stay, the longer they'll stay. You won't have a revolving door because somehow in some way they might know what they're coming into. I know they don't really, but they are more prepared to make that long-term decision. So that's where all our outreaches are. And then that's our Leadership Academy. And then this new initiative, Global Teen Challenge have an initiative that they want to put hope within reach of every addict. And that sounds so vast and so huge, but that's what we're doing, and that's what we do, all of us here, we're doing on a daily basis. And I think that's why we all need each other. Teen Challenge isn't it, and it isn't the only one that's going to do it, as you know, and your service is the same. It's not the only one. We actually all need each other. We need the different variety of services, the different variety, because what would suit one person might not suit another. So some people will never go near Teen Challenge. They think, I couldn't do that, that's too structured for me, I need something less structured. And so, by services, I think, working together, we are putting hope within reach. And it's fantastic. So what we've done is our chief executive was quite challenged by putting hope within reach, and he found the places where Teen Challenge, he did a research for the worst areas in the UK, the most deprived, the most drug-related deaths, the most crime, all of that, and the most addicted, number of addicted. So he did that, and he found you know, he started at the top then of the places where Teen Challenge are not already working, and that was Middlesbrough. So we sent a team, rented a house, sent a team into Middlesbrough, and they lived there for 6 months, and they worked with all the churches, all the local churches, and just really putting people within reach of hope. And you know, some people did residential, and some people just got connected to the church and local services, and it's been a great success. Now they're in Blackpool, and of course that's a whole different ballgame. It's quite hard, but they're in Blackpool now, and it's just amazing. It's just doing something with, when we know that these are the worst areas, then why can't we do something there? And we are. So it's you know, it's been amazing. I just walk in our centre and I say to the guy, "Where are you from?" Middlesbrough. How did you get? And just by somebody putting hope within their reach. And I do think that we do have the answer. As the church, we have the answer. And it's Jesus Christ, and you know, we can't wait for people to come into our churches. We can't wait for the addicted and the hopeless to walk in. They're not going to many times. So it's, you know, God is at work in our nation. God's at work. You know, it's incredible hope that there is in our nation, as doom and gloom, and we read the news, and I watch all those BBC iPlayer presentations, and I think we should, because they're very informative. And there's ones on all about the drug map of Britain. I don't know if any of you see that, and that's just incredible, and it gives us, but underneath it all, we as Christians, we have the answer, and it's absolutely fantastic. And you know, it's a privilege to be involved in such a great work like this, because it's close to the heart of God, isn't it? It's just close to his heart, and we can bring great hope, great freedom and recovery for the addict. And not only that, what a message it sends out when they become the ones who are the instruments of bringing that hope and gospel and freedom to others. And it's you know, because who better to go back in and help others than those that have been through it themselves. They know exactly what it's like, and they know how to recover. So it's just a little snapshot of Teen Challenge. If anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and if not, have a great forward journey. And I finished on the dot, aren't I really good?
We do have time for questions if anyone wants to ask any.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Rather than a question. Many years ago, I'm someone in recovery, and I was at Yale Manor as a place in 1986. Yeah. In 1985, I met, what's his name? The guy that got help in America, the gang member. Nicky Cruz. Yeah. And I came to the Lord with him. And you lot have been around in the foreground, in the background for all that time and much longer. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Brilliant, thanks Fiona, that was excellent. On the map there was a huge gap where we are, the northeast. Do you think maybe something might be happening in the northeast?
Do you know what happened with Nehemiah? He saw the need. I think we would go, Teen Challenge would go, you know, usually when a new work is set up, what happened, why we did the city outreach is that we were waiting for people to come to us, and there was gaps everywhere. So there was, you know, the gaps are huge, and we were waiting for someone to come and say, can Teen Challenge, and we're not a church organisation, so we need like lots of different churches, denominations in that city to get together, and then you set up a steering group, and we were waiting for all that to happen. And while we were waiting, you know, all the addicts are dying. How many have died every year? You know, so we said, no, we need to be more proactive than that, but we are still waiting. If somebody wants it in our town, then they contact us and we can start something.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, it's really inspiring. A lot of the faces that you kind of showed, look like a lot of the British people that are on the streets. Our ministry works mostly with East Europeans, and Britain is very much a multicultural country now. And I absolutely rejoice to see those British faces, British and Scottish and Irish, getting that help that they need. I just wondered, are there people from other nationalities in Teen Challenge in the UK, and are there opportunities for people whose language might not be English as their first language to access that amazing support that you're doing?
So the answer to the first question is yes, we have people from different nationalities. The second question is a little trickier because obviously if English is a problem, then our whole curriculum, so it can be a bit of an issue if somebody doesn't speak English. It would be a very difficult program. Now we had a guy, Slav, where's Slav from? Eastern European, but I don't know what nation, but maybe...
The Slavonic people of...
His name was Slav,
Yeah,
we called him Slav, so it must be...
Czech, Poland...
Yeah, it wasn't Czech or
Russia.
Poland, it was somewhere along there,
Slovakia.
yeah. Maybe Slovakia, maybe it was. And he learned English very, very quickly, so he did come in limited and learned a lot of English, but obviously if it was, more of a problem than that, but I think they do learn, a lot of them who are just new in the country begin to learn the language very quickly, but we do have people from different nationalities, but mainly their English is pretty good.
Yeah.